Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Shane Gucher, and with me is my good friend and co-caster, at least for the first series tonight, Haas. How are you doing, my man?
I'm good. It's a very impromptu one, but I'm looking forward to it. I
Yes,
love doing NA stuff. And right away, we're straight into the draft between Murlocs and Synapsis for what I believe is the opening game for HPL NA.
that is indeed here. There it goes. It's loading up. Okay, there it is. So we have these first two teams. Everyone, welcome to the Heroes Premier League Season 2. We are officially into the season. So after a long haul of qualifying matches on both the North American and European fronts, we are finally here. Very excited to finally get going back into the season here and get these matches underway. This is a best of three. We have three bests of three. The teams that are going to be playing tonight, you see, is Murlocs Inc. on the left side of the draft and Synapsis on the right. And Synapsis is a little bit of a new team. It's a lot of the players from the former team known as Heroes Hype. They disbanded, and they are actually trying. Then they added Proteges, who
Yep.
you might some of you might be familiar with from an old 2ARC. I believe he played with 2ARC for a little bit, another team after that. And also, they're trying to find a fifth player right now. I don't know who is in that fifth slot. But so Murlocs Inc. is a pretty well-known team. They've had some varying levels of success. They won Go for Heroes number 10 in the finals against Evil Geniuses. The following week, they were knocked out of ESL in the semis by EG again. And then week number 12 of the ESL Go for Heroes North America, they made it to the finals again, but were knocked out by Barrel Boys. So Murlocs Inc. is a team. It's a veteran team who have gotten deep into tournaments, and they are definitely a favorite going into the match so far. Haas, keep looking at this draft. What are you thinking so far, man?
Well, we've got the Illidan and Hammerband, two pretty standard things coming out there. The first pick, Tacida's an interesting one. Tacida is usually a pick you'd take alongside Illidan, rather than once he's taken away, so I'm curious to see who he's going to be supporting. Of course, he's a great lane pusher, and the map being
Right.
Sky Temple, getting those lanes push means that the rest of your team are able to roam a little bit more. Murlocs, though, reply with the Valor Hammer. Valor Uther, sorry. With Hammer banned out, Valor is a top source of damage next to
Absolutely.
probably Nazebo right now. And Uther and Malfurion with Rhaegar are all really strong healers, so taking one of the three away is a good choice. But Synapsis coming out with a very early Jaina pick as well.
Hmm.
Jaina's been seeing a lot of play recently, especially in NA from what I've seen. Me and Forecourt covered some the other night, and I saw a few picks yesterday in the Go For. And quite a few varying builds coming out as well, so interesting to see how this one's going to go. It's a bit early in the draft for a Jane to be picked, in my
That's what I
opinion.
was thinking. I agree.
But hey, they've already got a Tacita in there, so there's some support already for the Jaina, and they'll probably go for a Malfurion, I feel, as their actual
No.
support. But ETC being picked up for their main tank.
It's funny. I had all these notes. I was going and analyzing Murloc's draft and how they've been doing in the past weeks, and I noted that when they don't ban Illidan, they first pick Illidan and generally don't pick up healing supports until later on in the draft. And today they're doing the complete opposite of what they've been doing the past month. So they're obviously trying something out here because that has definitely been a trend for them. Is usually on maps like Sky Temple, they usually either ban the Illidan out or first pick them. But they went ahead and banned out the Sergeant Hammer instead. But they, as you mentioned, got the Vala, one of the most consistent backliner assassins in the game, and now they're picking up the Diablo. They had the option of a Stitches, and they're going with the Diablo. Diablo's a big hero. I don't know how it is in Europe, man, but over here in
Yeah.
North America, he's come back from hell, man. He is really showing a lot of domination in teams in matches recently.
Yeah, so not only have they just added a lot of CC to their draft, they've also added a barrier, I guess, to Synapsis picking up a Nazebo here. Because looking at the combination that Murlocs have, they don't have anything to combine with the Flame Breath or the Lightning Breath, so they have the opportunity of going Apocalypse. And Synapsis, if they wanted to add more damage with the Nazebo, you obviously don't really want to pick that into a Diablo Apocalypse and a Tyrande with the
Absolutely.
Lunar Flare. So they have to look for other sources for damage, and what's left on the board? Well, we've got a Falstad, not really seen, Asmodan
Right.
if they want, but maybe not so much on Sky Temple, and Zagara is again something we're seeing quite a bit in NA, and they're going to take it here as
Yes.
well, which works extremely well on Sky Temple as well.
Yeah, and noticing that Rhaegar is being completely foregone here from both of the teams. Murloc
Yeah.
Inks, if they wanted to go with a double healer composition, they easily had an option to do so, but obviously they decided, nope, we're just going to get our Uther and then kind of take it from there. I feel like Synapsis, I mean, unless they're seeing something I don't hear, Rhaegar would definitely be a very good healer to pick up. Though Malfurion in North America, I saw it a handful of times in the ESL this week before I unfortunately had to go. That's a long story we'll talk about later if we have downtime. And in the Community Cup, that teams were picking Malfurion over Rhaegar, at least in the solo heal position. A lot of teams seem to favor Malfurion over Rhaegar, while if they're running a double healer composition, then they'll pick up Rhaegar as one of their first supports. So we're going to see what Synapsis does here, if maybe they want to go with the solo Rhaegar or more comfortable with the Malfurion. They are a relatively new team. I believe 3 of the 4 have been playing together for quite some time, but anytime you throw in, a new 5th member, it really kind of shakes it up because, if you don't have that communication and everyone's all on the same page, things can get real bad real quick. So they're definitely gonna have to be careful in making sure they pick something up that they're comfortable with, and that's what I'm interested in seeing is what is their comfort zone right now.
I feel like Malfurion is the best pick in this situation. Of course, you've got the AoE heal to deal with all the damage output coming from Valor, and that's what they're going to go for. And you also have the mana towards Jaina and Zagara, and Tassadar as well, who are mana hungry. And yeah, they go for that Malfurion. We actually saw it picked yesterday in the Go For by Happy Fairy Dragons. They played it perfectly against Cloud9 and were able to take that one down, and EG as well. They had a really good showing yesterday, and Malfurion was a key to their success, just out-healing everyone.
Yes.
And you're going to expect him to out-heal the youth here, and there you go, Nazebo. They have a lot of damage here, Murlocs.
They do. They have an incredible backline. Obviously, the consistency of Vala Demon Hunter, Tehran bringing just that utility she brings not only through her heals and her vision, but just that stun. It can be so pivotal in team fights, especially on a fragile hero like Jaina, that really her Achilles heel is anytime she gets locked up in the backline, hard initiation, anything like that. They definitely have the tools, I feel like, with a good Diablo Shadow Charge, then stunning her after the Shadow Charge, followed up with a Lunar Flare and an amplified damage with her Hunter's Mark, and that Jaina can just get absolutely destroyed with the Demon Hunter just right-clicking her away. So Synapsis is definitely going to have to be real careful with that positioning on the Vala. They do definitely have a good amount of tools to help protect her with the Malfurion roots. Obviously, Devouring Maw once we hit the mid-game, and ETC's, ETC kind of speaks for himself.
Just ETC's kit in general.
Yeah, exactly. That alone is a very strong tool. So they definitely have a lot of abilities to protect that Jaina and let Jaina just destroy the front line up there. And Diablo, I mean, he's one of those heroes, I've talked about this before, that he's not like a Stitches, he's not like an ETC, to where once he commits to and initiates a fight, he's all in. He doesn't have something he can fall back on. He doesn't have Power Slide. He doesn't have like Chew Your Food like Stitches or Putrid Bile has or anything like that. Once he's in there, he is in there. And if Jaina is able to punish that, any sort of bad initiations from Diablo, that Diablo's got to be careful to make sure he doesn't get absolutely destroyed before he's able really to pull anything off.
Yeah. And we are going to be loading in now to Sky Temple. Of course, it's a map where early game is very important. You need to hit that level 10 before. We actually saw Cloud9 yesterday just forego the second rotation of temples completely. They were like, well, Happy Fairy Dragons are going to hit 10. We'll just give them that. We'll go push top and get top 4. Unfortunately, it didn't work out in the long run for them, but it did compensate XP-wise, their choice. So, second temple is the pivotal one in this match, I believe. And then after that, it's, I guess, whoever is the strongest. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. One team always tries their best to throw on this map. It doesn't matter who they are, no matter what it is, someone will go, we just killed 2 of them. Let's 3-man this boss at level 11. Let's do it. Sounds like a good idea.
Too funny. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are into the match on the left side of your map in blue. Is it going to be Murlocs Inc. with Mad Timmy, a name you might be familiar with if you're familiar with North American, playing the Uther, Spanker playing Tyron, Caterpillar playing the Diablo. Up in the top lane is going to be Equinox on the Vala Demon Hunter, and the bottom lane is going to be Clown. Who do we have on the right side of the map here, Mr. Haas?
On the right-hand side, we have Hurt on the ETC. We've seen him quite a few times before. Visceral, Jaina, Yuki, Sagara, Protege, Malfurion, and in the bot lane we have good old Hokfu playing the Tassadar. Looks like he's just going to solo and try and outpush the Nazebo here. Not too much level 1 aggression coming up top for this vision.
Yeah, you see, we generally do see a lot of contention and kind of posturing around that watchtower, as it can be very pivotal for the first temple rotation. For those of you that don't know, every single time the temples kind of have a little bit of a pattern to them. The first temples that spawn are the one here as the top right here, and then the other one right here. And obviously the reason why this watchtower is so contended is because it gives you vision of this middle temple that always spawns in the first couple of minutes of game. Lanes have taken shape here, though. Looks like a 3v3 in the mid lane. And my phone is going off because I didn't put it on silent. We'll fix that real quick. Looking at this lane, the 3v3 lane we got going on here, a little bit of a Mexican standoff. I mean, who do you favor right now with these compositions?
You'd really have to go for the Zagara and the Jane here. They've got so much pushing potential, and it's going to be the stuns which they're going to have to worry about. And straight away we're seeing Caterpillar jump in. Get forced back, in fact, because of this pure consistent damage that Synapsis have here. They can just wave clear and just stop any effort that Murlocs have at going in and trying to get some CC down on someone. It's the triple stun. Really, in my eyes, they should probably be roaming with the Uther Tyrande between mid and top.
I was thinking that.
But Shrines are up now, and we'll have to see which one they're going to go for. Murlocs are going to try and grab this mid one out. It looks like Synapsis want to challenge this 4v4 to start things off, but Nazeebo is so close. It's like Nazeebo's now in the mid lane.
All right, so right now Murlocs has to be careful because they are missing soak. They are not soaking at all. They have a 5-man commit to this mid-temple. They have to do something with it because if not, they're going to get way behind on soak. Anytime you have a team rotate like this and they commit to the map objectives, they can get punished pretty easily by the other team playing defensively, kind of doing, you know, the poke and backing away and just soaking up lanes efficiently. And right now the experience is about even, probably due to the fact that these towers are going down here in mid lane. That's keeping Murlocs in the experience fight right now. Both teams hitting level 4 almost at the exact same time.
Yep, but something to note here is that this mid-temple will always get more XP than the top one because they take the tower, whereas the top one takes the fountain. So yeah, the more you know, but it's not even going to get the fountain as Murlocs are going to try and stop this one.
Yeah, ATC's got to be careful. He's very, very low. He's actually going to try to power slide away, but he is inevitably going to go down. So First Blood going the way of Murlocs, and right now this is looking like a great team fight for him. They are definitely just picking them apart. One going down after the other. Tassadar is going to go down. Jaina goes down as well. So definitely it looks like a little bit of a positional problem coming from Synapsis right now. They are now a level and a half behind. They lost both of the temples. So right now the early game is definitely going Murloc's way.
And this is only going to snowball for them. They have this CC, they have this pick comp. They will keep trying to catch someone out with the talent advantage and just extend their lead. Their team fighting isn't too great, but it's good enough if they have the lead. Right.
Level 7 is almost here for him. Looking at the talents, the Murlocs have a couple options for Mule. They either can get it on the Witch Doctor if he foregoes Gidbin. It looks like he's not going to do that. And potentially Tyron as well, though she does have to give up the Hunter's Mark or Battle Momentum. That seems to be the go-to ones for level 7 with Tyrons recently, as either Battle's Mark or the or Battle Momentum, the Battle Mark, Battle Momentum, and either the Hunter's Mark. But she's going to the Battle Momentum. You can tell there's a moment of indecision there. They're going, you know what? We feel comfortable right now. We're ahead. Let's just go ahead and try to continue to snowball this advantage we have. Not get too defensive with our talent choices, picking up the Battle Momentum over the Mule.
And speaking of talent choices, you can actually see that Synapsis have gone for this more late game orientated straight away with their level 1 talents. You've got Conjurer's Pursuit on 3 out of the 5 heroes, signifying that they're trying to just ramp up and get this mana regen in there so they can take extended fights in the late game. Prodigy having to back away from that one, gets taken down a little bit by the poke from Valor. They are able to secure both their easy and their hard camp. In fact, both teams more or less mirroring each other there. And it's strange that they're still having this 3-man standoff in the mid lane when the next temple is bot and it's going to be up in about a minute or so, I believe. So they're going to need to rotate down soon enough, and Diablo is going to start that trend. And looks like he actually wants to go behind Hokfu here.
Now, Tassadar is a tricky one to try to gank here. It looks like he should be able to get away with Dimensional Shift. Yeah, he should be just fine here. I'm surprised these teams aren't in a better position for this bottom temple. Maybe none of them really feel comfortable fighting in that very small choke point that is right here. I mean, because that is a very sticky situation to be put in if you get caught out of position in that whatsoever. But it looks like right now Murlocs definitely is in the better position. They're already on top of the tower, while Synapsis is committing a little bit more to a 4-man push in the mid lane. So it looks like they know they can't take that bottom temple because they are down by 2 levels. The heroics are online for them, so they're going, you know what, if we can't get that, let's go ahead and get something on the board, and that's exactly what they're doing by pushing down mid lane right now.
Yep, they have forced Clown back as well. He's low on health and mana here. He can't tap just yet, I don't think, either. Now Caterpillar's coming in, though. They are level 10, and Murloc's really seeking this fight.
A good Lunar Flare onto Hokfu. Dimensional Shift is on cooldown. There is the Lightning Breath being shown, so foregoing the Apocalypse, I think definitely we see a little bit more Lightning Breath than we do Apocalypse. I would say it's pretty even, but at least what I've seen recently, a lot of teams seem to kind of go either way with that. And the bottom temple just getting completely uncontested for Murlocs Inc., and that's just attributed to the fact that their early game gave him that big advantage, and Synapsis knew that fighting into that temple would have been absolute suicide. But they have an advantage here. The window of opportunity is kind of sealing up for them right now. They're going to try to jump on an opportunity now that they have even level talents. Maybe try to get a gank here down on Mad Timmy as they're rotating hard down here. And they just got to make sure they don't, lose another team fight, because the worst thing that can happen to them is if they're down a talent and Murlocs Inc. gets level 13 by the next temple phase.
Yep, so they're just trying to keep in line with XP right now. They've gone for a 4-man push down bot, but Murlocs gonna go for the 4-man mid, and this is gonna work out a lot better in their favor. They're gonna 100% get this fort, but it's a case of can they get down bot in time to stop their fort. In fact, it looks like Synapsis is just gonna back away from this bot lane.
Yeah. So don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, anytime you lose structures on this map, it's a really constricting factor, because every time, the less structures you have, the closer the enemy team is until the map objective starts wailing at your core. And when you're in a situation when you're down 3 keeps, and it's an easy position for the enemy team to win simply by just going, dodging team fights, kind of like Blackheart's Bay. They don't have to fully commit to anything else on the map except the objective, and it's a very, very hard position to be on. So it's a very important and vital thing to not only defend your objectives accordingly, but also to make sure you're pushing as well. So that way, when you do get the map objectives, when you do get a window of opportunity, that opportunity actually translates into something on the map.
And we're actually seeing a chase here into the enemy's jungle. Clown is going to take some damage, but most of it goes back onto Protege. Yuki aggroing the boss is not what you want to do there, sir.
Yes.
That's probably going to
call this the horns of retreat going right now. So the next temple phase is up in 10 seconds. This is the polar phase, as I like to call it. We have 2 temples. One is up in the absolute south, and one is up in the absolute north. This is generally a moment where teams really don't fully commit to try to getting both at the same time, just because the distance of them are so large and vast that teams really don't feel they can separate, unless they're doing some sort of global strat with like a Brightwing ETC, something like that.
Caterpillar's that guy. He's aggroed the boss. He's like 13 to 12, 5v5, we can boss. They're actually taking it pretty quickly though. ETC does have the stage dive. They could come in here. The factor in their favor is they have 13 over 12, but Mad Timmy going very low.
Yeah, a good initiation with the ETC. Mad Timmy already going down, but he is going to be able to get a Divine Storm off with the Ghost if he chooses to do so. There's a Maw in the backline, but right now Synapsis is falling apart. 3 already down, 4 going down, and that's going to be a full handful from Murlocs Inc. Easy cleanup for him right there. Only losing their Uther in the start of that fight. Initially, the Uther was the first one to go down, but that didn't do much of anything as they just got absolutely turned around on. And now Murlocs Inc. is in a great opportunity to continue this bottom lane push with the boss. They're able to get out of that team fight. They're going to get the South Temple. They're going to get the North Temple. And once again, it's just a good early game translating into a good mid game, getting all the map objectives, and they are in a great position right now.
Yep, they have 1 Siege Golem down here as well. They're 100% going to get a wall. The boss is going to go for the wrong tower here, but he should still get at least one of the 2. Oh, is he going to get it? Yeah, he actually gets both. So that's very nice. For Murlocs, they're just extending their XP lead, and of course, as you said, they're exhausting both temples now. Diablo still battling down bot. They're able to get one of the towers in front of the top keep. Mid keep is still looking very nice though, and that bottom keep has taken some damage. Hard camps are up. Both teams taking those away, no aggression going out towards the other. Of course, Synapsis right now can't afford to. They are 3 levels behind, 1 talent behind. And the talents are pretty standard. The only interesting one, I guess, is the imposing presence on Uther over the hardened focus. But I guess Zagara, Tassadar, they auto attack quite a bit. They do some damage with them. I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's not like he's facing a Tychus or an auto attack ball or anything like that, but I can definitely see the value in it. I mean, usually the hardened focus is a really good talent when you're ahead, but it looks like they know that they're ahead. That's not something they're more afraid of, maybe him getting blown up, because that is what happened in that team fight. Mad Timmy got absolutely destroyed in the first part of that team fight. Thankfully, he was an Uther, so he was able to use some of his kit before his Ghost expired, lay down a Divine Storm, get a couple heals out. So if you're going to lose someone early in a team fight, the best person to be is an Uther. So that's one of the reasons why they were able to turn this around. Now they're lightly sieging this mid lane. A good Lunar Flare into 2, no follow-up though. I think that was just kind of random flare right there, happened to pick off 2 people. And this is just a slow siege right now. They're not going to overcommit here. This is kind of just conservative play because they know they're ahead. ETC is doing what he should be doing, and that's soaking up here in the top lane, pushing with the bruiser camp. Stage dive is up, so anytime that Synapsis wants to commit to a team fight, ETC can just go in there with the stage dive, initiate with it, and at the same time he can continue to split push top lane and try to make up some of this experience discrepancy that they're in right now.
And that's all Synapsis can really do right now.
Yeah.
They may not even have the luxury of their easy camp, as the blue side of Murlocs look to take this one away, but it looks like they're just going to back away from this and say, you can have it, we don't really want to fight you right now, we're happy with this 2-level lead, we're going to play things safe, don't want to throw. And the next temples are up in just above 20 seconds. Mid and bot are going to be the targets.
Now, with that bottom lane being exposed from the boss that they were picked up earlier, you can tell Murlocs has definitely put a lot of focus into it. They're going to go, okay, we'll forego the middle one, forego the middle temple that just spawned. We're going to get these siege ogres. We're going to rotate down to bottom lane. We're going to contest this bottom temple if there's any contention whatsoever, because they know the bottom lane is open to those siege ogres pushing it down. So that makes Synapsis have to defend that, because a keep going down is just not any position you want to be in, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So they're really playing to the map objectives. They're forcing Synapsis to make rotations they don't want to make, but they have no choice in the matter, and they are rotating accordingly.
Yep, and with this 2-level lead, they can just do so, as we actually see the sprint coming out from Uther. The stage dive's going to come in as well.
A good sprint. He put on his Nikes, went ahead and Divine Storm, and Zagara is out of the fight. No mom, no nothing. This is already a 4v5. ETC, did you stage dive? But right now he's sitting in the middle of a Ravenous Spirit. That Ghost is tearing him up. He was able to interrupt, but the damage has been done. The frontliner is down. Zagara is down as well. Archon on cooldown, and this is not looking good for Synapsis whatsoever. Equinox getting a little low. He's definitely going to have to back away. Hawkfu's Dimensional Shift is on cooldown now. His other cooldown is going to be on cooldown as well. Whatever that level, that talent is. I always forget what it's called.
Oh no,
there
it is.
Prescience.
Yeah, prescience.
Is it prescience or prescience?
I don't know if Forkor pronounced it prescience, but I'd always just go prescience.
So one thing to note, Synapsis never got this temple in the mid lane. Maybe they had to commit so many resources to cleaning up those siege ogres and trying to contest the bottom lane that it never really went contended. They have to be careful here. This is still a 4v5. They are down their frontliner, and Ajayna needs his frontliner to do anything. Diablo exploiting that fact. He's going to shadow charge in there, and once again, an easy kill going on Ajayna. Devour Maw goes down. I feel like it's just kind of a waste of a cooldown there. Matt Timmy's just going to heal himself up, cleanse himself out of those roots. Once again, Murlocs are just, they're hitting their stride and continuing to play across the map and going to get themselves a good victory here if this continues for them.
Yeah, they are. It's been a pretty standard game from them. Now with a 3-level lead, their heroics are coming back off of cooldown. Of course, Synapsis still having trouble with those. We've got 15 seconds on Archon, 10 on Tranquility. So right now, Murlocs could easily take a fight and come out as the victors, and they know this. So they're going to take away this bruiser camp, and there's nothing Synapsis can do about this. They're just trapped in their base, and this is one of the problems with Sky Temple you face if you get behind. We're a mere 14 minutes in now. The next shrines are going to be spawning at around 15 minutes-ish. And Synapsis won't be able to leave their base and contest. They'll feel like they have to, but they just won't be able to. They won't be able to take the fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Murlocs look towards to take boss before the temples spawn. So then there's the two-pronged attack. It's either, do we go boss, do we defend the boss and stop it attacking our core, or do we try and defend the temples and let the boss end? It's a
sticky situation to be in.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same effect that you have with Blackheart's base. Sage dive coming in here into the backlines. Diablo immediately interrupted. Starfall is on there. Proteges is sitting in the middle of it, having to pop Tranquility. Might be a little too late. Divine Storm is used on him. He does have the Ice Block, though. That's going to keep him up for a little bit longer. However, ETC looks like he's going to get out of gas and get lit up with Caterpillar's Dragon Breath right there. Hawkfu has got to be careful. A good Lunar Flare actually dodged by the Dimensional Shift. Quick reaction time coming out of Hawkfu right there. But right now, this is a 5v4. They are continuing to slowly siege this top keep. Well done by them, especially because the next temple round is going to be spawning here momentarily, so they're going to get this keep. And look at the timing on that, Haas. You nailed it. They're going to go up there. They are going to get this top temple, I would imagine, without much contention. They have level 20. They have a strong power play. And then after that, more than likely rotate down and try to pick up some of these mercenary camps in the bottom lane.
This is going straight to the keep. Straight to the core, sorry. 3-level difference. This is what I was on about. Synapsis physically can't fight this. They are 4 versus 5. That's a very nice Moor, it has to be said, but 4 versus 5 against level 20 heroics.
almost bringing down Spanker and Caterpillar there. It was coordinated, but unfortunately, with a 3-level discrepancy going on right now, they simply don't have the damage to take down the superior health pools, the superior mana pools, and just superior ability damage, and they are calling the GG right now. They know they can't make this game. They had to fight on top of that Temple. Temple's going to just go ahead and laser down their core with the push coming in from the top lane of Murlocs. They know this game is theirs. Well played by them, but don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, these are best of 3s. These are not best of 1s. If you've been watching a lot of ESL Go for Heroes or Community Cup, this is going to go to a best of 3 if Synapsis is able to clean themselves up, get themselves off of the ground, and get a better performance in the next match. But a very well-deserved win by Murlocs Inc. They're showing why they have been, performing real well in the tournaments as of recent. Haas, where'd you go? Where'd you go? There you are. There's your beautiful face. So, well done by them. Just a very crisp strategy from them. They never really overcommitted to anything. Just seemed like some pretty textbook Sky Temple play. The moment they got the momentum, they kept the momentum up. They didn't overstep their boundaries. They didn't get too aggressive. They didn't, put themselves in a bad position to have a team fight not go their way. And just that's pretty much the name of that game.
Yeah, I feel like Murlocs Inc., their early game was far superior to Synapsis. They had the rotations, they had the CC, they had the gank ability. They may not have used it to its fullest, but it was certainly there, and they used it enough to put Synapsis on the back foot early on and just keep them there throughout the game. So, really nice start there from Murlocs. They get the first win on the board. They now just need to make it one more, and they will take this series 2-0, but Synapsis really need to improve. Maybe that was Murloc's pick of Sky Temple, so Synapsis might come out a little bit stronger on a map of their choice. We'll have to see.
So yes, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Thank you so much for hanging out. I am Shane Gucher. With me is my good friend Haas. We'll be back here in just a moment for Game 2 between Murlocs Inc. and Synapsis. Stay tuned.